Hey guys, welcome to today's yoga practice. We're going completely off script. This is just out of the blue. I'm so glad that you're here. If this is your first time, hey, I'm Aubrey. I am new to teaching yoga, but I have practiced on and off for quite a few years. Thanks to long haul COVID, that's all I could do for a long time. But we're healed and ready to go, okay? So I hope that you enjoy this class. Go ahead and meet me on the mat. So we are going to fire up our cores today. So to start, we're going to do Kapalabhati or fire breath. So come to your mat, sitting on your heels, or you can sit in easy pose. If you've never done Kapalabhati breathing, that's okay. Today is your first time and you're gonna love it, hopefully. This is a very warming breath. So how it works is we're going to take an inhale together and exhale. Inhale halfway and snap the breath out through your nostrils. The inhale will happen automatically. So to show you before you get to do it, you're gonna take an inhale and exhale. Inhale halfway and snap the breath through those nose holes. Okay, so your belly should be pulling in to breathe out, okay? So right before we begin, let's come to a moment of stillness within ourselves. So have a seat on your mat, take a deep breath in, close the eyes, and exhale. Let's do just a couple more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's go ahead and do some skull shining breath, okay? Inhale all the way. Exhale fully. Inhale halfway, close the mouth, and then breathe forcefully through your nose. Good. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do one more round. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Inhale halfway. And snap that breath out. Beautiful. Deep inhale. Full exhale through the mouth. Let it go. Open up your eyes. We are going to go ahead and start now, but we're going to start with some kind of Lolasana lifts here. So you're going to plant your hands, knees are bent, my hips are on my heels, plant your hands close to your knees, and all we're going to do is lift the hips up off of the floor, pressing into your toes. This is kind of a prep for Lolasana, and it can be a prep for when you're more advanced and can kind of shoot through into Chaturanga, okay? So press those palms into the floor. From the very beginning, I want you to draw the belly in. This class, I want to focus a lot on alignment, so that's what we're going to do. Grip the ground, pushing the hands into the floor. Feel it support you, and then making sure that we're not locking our elbows out and we're not kind of rounding through the spine here. We want the chest to stay open, okay? So we're not hunching over and kind of shrinking our body here. So once you're set up here, drawing the belly in, you're going to inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale down, exhale, lift. We're going to go for 10. Exhale, lifting those hips up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Beautiful. You should feel that in your shoulders quite a bit, yes? I always turn so red when I do anything strenuous, so I hope you enjoy this flaming Aubrey. Okay, so let's go ahead and come into all fours. You're going to inhale, cow. Again, before we start, make sure your alignment's good. You can have your palms slightly on the outside of your shoulders. I find that makes more room for the chest to come through. And then making sure that your core is still staying in. We don't want to just hang the belly here, okay? So making sure that we're not falling to the floor in our shoulders or in our tummy, okay? So draw the belly in. Keep the collarbones wide. Spread through the fingers and press into the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. Exhale, really draw the belly in and tuck. Breathing out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, lift. exhale, round.
Let's do a couple more here. Inhale, lift.
And exhale, round.
Inhale, lift.
And round. Beautiful. Come back to neutral. Tuck those toes and press those hips up into downward facing dog.
Let's go ahead and work on our alignment here. Now, in downward facing dog, it's really common to kind of let those ribs open up here and really sink the chest down. What I want you to do instead is to knit these ribs in. So in
One of my previous videos, we did the practice where we open the ribs and close them, okay, with the hands on the ribs. I want you to think of pulling those ribs in, pulling the belly in,
lifting those hips up to the sky. If it's helpful to you, you can bend the knees and bring the chest closer and then lift the hips before you sink the heels. Spread through those toes and imagine those inner thighs twisting up towards the sky so that you're not kind of sinking into this weird frog shape. Okay, spread through the toes, the heels are sinking towards the floor. It's completely okay if they don't touch the floor. One day they will, but just accept where you are today. Ribs knitted in, lower belly draws in, the inner thighs rolling upward towards the ceiling and the hips lifting. Now let's think about our hands for a minute here. Take a peek at them. If they're together like this, open them up. We want a nice spread fingers here. Dig those fingertips into the floor. And then let's come to stillness. If you find that your shoulders are up by your ears and you can't really hear me, imagine twisting your biceps forward and your triceps under. This is going to lengthen the space between your shoulder and your neck. Good, couple more breaths here. When we really focus on the principles of alignment in our poses, we find they're a lot more difficult. People that get bored with yoga, I think, just don't fully engage and are not fully present, right? We always hear with a lot of these gurus and meditation that if you're not fully present, that's where boredom comes from. There's a lot happening in this moment. Beautiful. Let's begin walking our feet to our hands, nice and slow. See if you can spread through those toes every time you step the foot down. Now, we're probably a little tight still as we just started the class, so as you come to your fingers and your hands, come up onto those fingertips, that's just fine. And I want you to put a slight bend into those knees and just waterfall over your legs. You may feel your spine start to decompress here. Again, rolling those inner thighs back and up, and the belly draws in. If you'd like to start to slowly lengthen out those legs, you can. Beautiful. Let's add some movement to this. Let's just alternate little pedals back and forth between the legs, nice and slow. Keeping those hips lifted and the chest waterfalling down. Beautiful. Lengthen out both legs. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold. And then I want you to inhale very slowly, build up to standing position. Beautiful. Now bring those feet a little bit closer to the top of the mat if needed. Spread through those toes. You can have the toes touching, but put a little bit of space between those heels, especially as women where we have this big angle between our hips to our knees. It can be a little strenuous for us to keep our feet together. So if you'd like, and if you have wider hips, you can put a little bit of space between those feet. Now from here, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have no hands for a minute. Inhale the arms up, Hastasana. Really reaching up towards the sky. Again, think about twisting that bicep back as the tricep goes forward. Reaching up, pushing through the ground, twisting those inner thighs back and up, and the belly draws in. Now take a look at my ribs. Here they're completely open. I'm gonna tuck them in. So tuck the ribs in, tuck the belly in, do a little bit of a back bend, and exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift up that right leg, and I want you to take it ever so gently back as far as you can. Now, if you feel a little unstable here, you can go ahead and widen your stance. So heel toe, the left foot out if needed. If not, that's just fine, okay? Inhale, lift the arms up, overhead. Reaching those arms up to the sky and feel into your hips. Do you notice that one has dropped down? Are you kind of angling towards the camera? If so, straighten it out. Use your core, use that left butt cheek to get those hips more in alignment. Now imagine drawing the left heel back and the right toes forward. Reaching up to the sky, fingertips are spread. So with a lot of our yoga, we're going to be spreading through those fingers and really working the finger muscles. Once in a while, we'll do, obviously, prayer pose or prayer mudra. Lifting up. You can gaze slightly up, but make sure that you can still breathe. If your breathing is altered, then you need to take your chin back down. Beautiful. Really just focusing on alignment here. We're going nice and slow. Good. Take those hands down by the left foot. Plant them down. Lift the left foot and let's head back into downward facing dog. Now for this first flow, we're going to do knees, chest, chin. So roll forward into plank as you inhale. Exhale as you drop knees, chest, chin. Inhale up. And exhale, roll over those toes, lift the hips, raise it up. Inhale, lift that right leg up. Exhale as you step it in between the hands. Now again, make sure that you are not too narrow. Otherwise, you'll fall over. We don't want that. Beautiful. Inhale those arms up overhead. Now, focus on those hips, that pelvis. Are we dropping down again? Lift it up by squeezing that right butt cheek and engaging your core here. Drawing the right heel back, the left toes forward. Feeling the ground. Now push from the ground, away from the ground, and lift up to the sky here. Making sure our body is staying long. Beautiful. Hands come down by the right foot. Step the left foot to meet the right. Hinge forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Spread to those toes, take a peek at them. Once again, energetically moving those inner thighs back and out. Drawing the belly in, knitting the ribs in, pushing the floor away, standing tall. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Place those fingertips on the floor as you lift the left leg, the left foot, and place it back behind. Inhale, high lunge. Again, check in. How are those hips? Squeeze that right glute, and it will help stabilize that pelvis. Pulling toes and heel together. Belly joint in. Keep the ribs from flaring out. Beautiful. Come on down. Take the right foot up. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, sink those heels. Lift the hips. Pushing through the hands, through the fingertips. One more breath here. On your next inhale, roll forward into plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. And inhale, up. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left foot. Exhale, step it in between the hands. And inhale, the arms up overhead. Fingers are spread, energetically lifting towards the sky. Squeeze the left glute to stabilize the pelvis. And bring heel back and toes forward. Beautiful. Hands down by your left foot. Bring the right to meet the left. Forward fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, stay or fold. And inhale, lift. Hands to heart center.
Beautiful. Now, excuse me, we are going to head into just a short little flow. Today's class is quick, again, focusing mostly on alignment. So if you were here for a short time and a good time, I'm glad you're here. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. And then from here, I want you to come into Utkatasana, sink the hips, bend the knees, and imagine pulling those heels back and sinking those hips back. Arms up overhead. Again, knit those ribs in so that you're not overarching here, okay? Hold. Making sure that your neck is long also. Bring those hands down to heart center. And I want you to hook the right elbow to the left knee. So you can use the other arm to twist. Now, again, with our alignment, take a peek at your knees. Oftentimes, when we're twisting, the whole body's going to twist in the direction that we're twisting, but we want a lot of the twist to be from the belly button. So I want you to pull the right knee back so that they're in line. Really squeeze those thighs together. And kind of try to notice if one hip is lifting. This one's hard. If you have someone around that can take a peek at you, that would be helpful. But just looking down at the legs, you'll be able to see quite a bit, kind of what's going on. Spread through those toes, lift and open the chest, and then use the knee against the elbow and the elbow against the knee to twist. There's no rush in the twist. We're working with our spine here, which is very important, so take your time. And if you cannot twist this much, that's totally okay. I want you to just stay here. Wherever you're at right now is great. There's no pressure. We have time, and we've got to let the body know that we're safe. To do that, breathe in and out through the nose, nice and slow. Good. Untwist, lift the arms, stand up nice and tall. Hands to the heart. Close down the eyes and take a couple breaths here. You can shake out the legs if you need to. If you're doing this after a leg day in the gym, I feel for you. If you're doing it as your leg day, I feel for you. Go ahead and lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. And sink those hips, Utkatasana. Again, focusing on the alignment. Pushing those hips back, opening up the chest, knitting the ribs and the belly in. Hands come to heart center. Left arm to the outside, the right thigh. Peek down at those knees. Notice if the left is trying to sneak forward and simply correct it. Squeeze them together. Now's a good time to check to make sure that your toes are spread. Once your alignment is good, go ahead and gently twist, pushing knee into elbow and elbow into knee. Lengthen that spine and twist. Beautiful. Come back to center. Arms extend. Stand. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. Allow the hands to drop down by the side. Shake out the legs if you need to. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Now, if you would like, you can do a hop back. Mine aren't very graceful yet, but maybe yours aren't either. Maybe yours are so graceful. We'll all get there, right? Okay, so if we're gonna hop back, flatten those palms, bend just a little bit, and squeeze those elbows as if they're coming together. Okay, we don't want them to flail out. So elbows are squeezing together. You drop onto the toes and just hop back. Landing in chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Now I want you to lift that right leg up. Don't open the hip. A lot of the time they're gonna come like this, which we'll do soon. But lift that leg up, keeping the hips square. And I want you just to feel this here. Again, working on our alignment. You can point or flex the toes, the foot. Push those hands, knit the ribs in, pull the belly in. Lifting up, focusing on your breath.
Beautiful. Let's inhale as we roll forward into a three-legged plank and exhale left. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale left. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale left. One more. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale lift. Now I want you to open that hip up and let that foot drop over. If it feels nice, you can take some hip circles here. Remember, as we open, I'd like you to keep your shoulders relatively square here. Go ahead and reverse those circles. Good, and then come to stillness here. Beautiful. Square it off. Plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale, dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. I hope those arms are burning too. Spread through the toes. Feel the posture. Notice if you're more into the present. Inhale, lift the left foot up. Again, keeping the hips square. Point, or flex that foot, lifting as high as you can while keeping the body squared off. Beautiful. Inhale as you round into plank. Exhale, three-legged dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Last one. Inhale, forward. And exhale, back. Beautiful. Drop that foot over. Open up the hip now. And go ahead and work through some hip circles. And reverse it. Beautiful. Come to stillness, opening that hip. Go ahead and close everything off. Round into plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale, child's pose. Let's take a little break. You can open up those knees to make it more comfortable. And relax. Flex those fingers. Twist through the wrists if you need to. And allow the body to take a moment to rest. Remember to be grateful for where you are in this moment. Good. Come on up to all fours. Tuck those toes under and let's go back into downward facing dog. Now, let's go ahead and lift that right foot up overhead. Bend the knee, open the hip. And if you are ready, you can head into wild thing. So drop the right foot down as you come to the side of the left foot. Lift the hips, open the heart. This is one of my favorite poses, wild thing. I think that we all have a wild streak we just need to tap into. Beautiful. Close it off. And I want you to take that right foot up to the outside of your right hand. Now we're going to come into lizard. So you're going to come down, if it's available to you, onto your forearms. If it's not, go ahead and stay on your hands or your fingertips. But if it is available, come on down to your forearms. Point the right toes towards the corner of the mat. And you can kind of just sway back and forth here. Do a few circles. Opening into that hip. And wherever there's tightness, send that love. So funny, when I used to hear people say, send it love, I would just think they were kind of silly, right? But as I've walked more of the yogic path and learned more, love really is all there is. Like all those hippies had it right, so many years ago. Everything is love if we can just open and accept and surrender. Come to stillness. If your left leg is getting tired, go ahead and drop that back knee. Close off the eyes. Breathe into that right hip. and the left hip flexor. Good, come on up out of that pose onto your hands. And I want you to heel toe the foot in between the hands. Come up onto the toes of your left foot and hop in just slightly. Let's head into pyramid. So, again, squaring off the hips. If you're open like this, we don't want to begin yet. Square off the hips, dragging the right heel back, the left toes forward. Inhale as you extend and lengthen through the spine. Exhale as you hinge over. You don't have to go very far. You don't have to even be a flat back. If you need to, grab some blocks, or you can just come to the leg, okay? But that one's a little harder for stability. So if you have some blocks, please grab them. Now, we're pulling in through our abdomen so that we don't open up the pelvis. We want to be square here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Beautiful. Now, go ahead and scoop those left toes back just a bit. Bend into that right knee and drop the left heel down to the floor. The right hand comes to the inside, circle, left arm around, side angle. As you circle the left arm around, lengthen and straighten the right knee to come into triangle pose. Tighten the core here, lift up, and bend that right knee, Virabhadrasana 2. Again here, we are pulling heels together. Now, Virabhadrasana 2, the pelvis and the hips want to be facing forward. So we're gently working on that too. Find a single point of focus. Lengthen through the arms. Flex the muscles of the arms. Draw the belly in. Inhale. Lift the arm. Exhale, windmill the arms down. Step back, vinyasa. Meet me in downward facing dog. If you need to take a child's pose here, that's wonderful. Go ahead and do that. Good. Inhale, lift that right foot up. Bend and open that hip. Take a couple breaths here. If your body feels pretty good today, drop the left foot back. Come to the outside of your right foot. Wild thing. Arm up overhead. Lift the chest. Open the heart. Breathe. Beautiful. Inhale, and then exhale as you close everything off, taking the left foot to the outside of the left hand, and coming into lizard. Again, angle your foot slightly towards the corner of your mat. Come down to the forearms if your body will allow. If not, it's totally okay to stay on the hands. Drop the back knee if needed. Let's do some hip circles here. Make sure you reverse the direction. And then come to stillness. Gently come out, hands plant on the floor, heel toe the foot in, and hop the back foot up just a bit so that we come into pyramid. Square off those hips, lengthen through the spine, and waterfall over that front leg. Now again, pull, drag the heel back and the toes forward. inside of the left foot and drop the right heel. Windmill the arm up, side angle. Reaching from fingertips all the way down to your foot on the right side. Beautiful. As you windmill the arm backwards, lengthen that left leg, straighten, and lengthen the upper body to come into triangle. Tighten up that core. Inhale, lift the upper body, bend the left leg, sink down into Virabhadrasana 2. Find a single point of focus over those left fingertips. Breathe. Beautiful. Inhale as you lift the left arm up. Exhale, windmill down, vinyasa. Exhale, the downward facing dog. And I'd like you to walk the feet forward. Take as much time as you need. Go ahead and sit down. And then lie on your back. Hug those knees into the chest for wind removing pose. Hug opposite elbow if you can. If not, clasping the hands or simply grabbing the knees is great also. Give yourself a hug and take a moment to thank your body for everything that's done in this class today. Sending it love. Even if you're not where you'd like to be, every single day gets you closer. And if we give up now, we'll never see what it's like to be where we want to be. Go ahead and lengthen the left leg along the mat. And I'd like you to take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and cross the knee over. Now from here, we're going to gaze at our right hand. But before we do that, I'd like you to lift the left shoulder up and move it slightly towards the left so you get a little more of a twist. If it helps you, you can leave the left hand on the right thigh, but let's turn the head, if you can, and your body allows, to gaze over the right shoulder. Winding down now after this impromptu, fun little class. Beautiful. Come back to center. Bring both knees into your chest. And now let's extend the right leg along the mat. Right hand to the outside of the left thigh. And twist that leg over. Again, lifting the right shoulder up and moving it slightly to the right to get more of a twist. Gaze over the left fingertips. And allow your body to let go and to sink into this pose. You can close off the eyes if you'd like. And just take a moment for you. Notice that as you breathe, your body lets go a little bit more. Let's inhale back to center. Both knees into the chest. And then lay the legs along the mat. Tuck the shoulders slightly under to open up the chest, palms face up or down, and allow those feet to fall open, Shavasana. This was a short class, so you don't need to stay here very long. But I do recommend staying for at least 2 minutes here to allow the body to unwind and to absorb everything it just did. stay here as long as you like, but if you're ready, you can roll onto whatever side feels most open. Using your bicep as a pillow. And just noticing what you feel here. If there are any negative emotions, allow them to be there, and even send them love, which I know can be so hard. Pushing through whatever hand is on the floor, go ahead and sit up. And come to a seated position. Inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Thank you so much for doing this class with me. I'm so appreciative that you took the time to do it. And I hope that you did get something out of it, whether it was an alignment thing that you were wondering about or just a break from everyday life. I truly am so blessed that you were here. Namaste.